Well, I mean, we were taught in our early days in journalism that when you know that a matter is likely to go to court, a matter that is not even in court is likely to go to court, or a person is likely to be charged before a competent court and so on, you cannot make prejudicial statements.
Right.
It would amount to straightforward contempt. And when the person is in court, you can also not make prejudicial statements. These are just rules that, as journalists, we are enjoined to follow. So I'm not going to make any comment which will presume the innocence or guilt of Mr. Adu Boahene. Okay? What I want to say simply is that any person who is accused of wrongdoing, especially corruption, leading to the loss of resources by the state, has a right to defend himself or herself. And that person cannot be presumed to be guilty until proven guilty in a competent court. Not just proven guilty, but proven guilty in a competent court. I'm happy that the question of his bail is being litigated in court. I'm very happy. Now, that is not to say that every decision of the court is acceptable. Because we've had situations where we've even had cause to disagree with Supreme Court decisions and so on. But somehow, somewhat, there has to be some arrangement, for bringing some conclusion to litigations. And we have decided that our courts should be the place where litigations are brought to some finality. So we await the decision of the court. Now, one of the very, very basic principles that govern prosecutions is that accused persons are entitled to access to their counsel. Now, Mr. Tachia indicates that he has not been given access to his client. Is that true? I don't know. That's a matter which will be contested in court, and the court will make a determination. You understand? It's also important for us to understand that accused persons have no obligation to assist the prosecution or the investigators to prove their guilt. That's why accused persons can remain silent, even in court. They can even refuse to plead, and so on. So it's important that these fundamental rights of accused persons are respected. Now, having said that, I am getting increasingly worried.
Why?
About the posture of the minority in Parliament, and I'm happy that you're here. The posture of the minority in Parliament is to politicize every arrest, politicize every issue, and so on. That's the impression we are getting in the public.
But they said you're being persecuted.
On what basis? You understand? Especially when some of the claims which have been made have turned out to be strange, at best strange. You understand? And I'll give you a few examples. There's a search on the residence, private residence, of the former governor of the Bank of Ghana. And the minority actually addresses a press conference in which it makes all kinds of claims. And one of the claims is that 3 official vehicles, not one, 3 official vehicles in the residence of the ex-governor of the Bank of Ghana were taken away, and that he was asked to go and pick them later. I mean, this is an incredible position to take. What were official vehicles doing in a former governor's house? Because if those vehicles had been sold to him, they ceased to be official vehicles. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I get it.
And yet, the minority actually calls a press conference to make these claims. Ridiculous in the extreme. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, I heard the Attorney General at his press conference say that if the minority continues on this tangent, he would release a tape recording of the governor.
Yeah, he had a conversation he had with the governor.
Exactly, he will release it. I don't know what's on that tape recording. But from the way the Attorney General speaks, it appears that it may embarrass the governor. Is the minority willing to push this to the extent that it becomes an embarrassment to the governor? I don't know. I mean, you don't have to politicize everything. People, when they are arrested, all of us, including the minority, including the majority, including citizens like you and I, have a responsibility to insist that they are treated fairly. We have a responsibility to insist that their rights are not violated. Because if we don't, and that becomes the norm, we may be the next in line, and so on. Okay? So that responsibility is for everybody, majority, minority, ordinary citizens, and so on. But the extent that the minority goes sometimes, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, sometimes, especially about these official cars and so on. You know, I mean, there are issues which can be legitimately raised. For example, we are told that when the search team went to the governor's house, he apparently had cameras.
CCTV cameras.
Yes, which enabled him to see what was happening in the Bank of Ghana. Okay. One legitimate question. What building are we talking about? The old Bank of Ghana or the new Bank of Ghana? That's a legitimate question. Now, if it's the old Bank of Ghana, what is in the old Bank of Ghana which is so important for security and so on? I don't know. Okay? If it's the new Bank of Ghana, what was he saying? Is it just possible that those cameras were installed whilst he was still governor and he has not been minded to disconnect them when he went on retirement and so on? Those are important questions. Okay. In any case, if it's a question of CCTV cameras and so on, why don't you just simply dismantle them? Do you require a raid on his house to dismantle CCTV cameras? Obviously not. You understand?
The Attorney General said it wasn't a raid, it was a search. He had a warrant.
That's diction. That's choice of words. I mean, the substance of the issue is that some people went to his house.
Yes.
With weapons.
Yes.
To search and so on. You can call it a raid, you can call it a visit, you can call it whatever you want. Okay. The essence is that some people, armed people, about 20 of them or more, went to his house. So I'm not worried about whether you call it a raid or you call it a visit or you call it a courtesy call. I don't mind. Or a search, I don't mind.
All right.
I want us to look at the substance, you understand? So did that require this display, this public display and so on? I don't know. These are legitimate questions to ask. And if the minority were to raise these questions, I don't think that anybody would bother and so on. And there are more questions to raise. Okay. But some of the things that are being said, and honorable, they are being said in your name. Sometimes don't you feel embarrassed?
Maybe he agrees.
Well, let's listen to him if he agrees.
Wallace, do you agree or disagree?
Well, first of all, I've been on this show for 4 years, 5 years.
Yes.
Everybody knows my position on corruption. Okay. I don't condone people who misuse assets that has been entrusted in their hands by the state. But I also don't like public prosecution. I believe that everybody, as Kwesi is saying, should be given an opportunity to give their side of the story. I listened to Dr. Yene, and he made very boring analogies. He talked about two main issues: the Sky Train and then Mr. Adu Boahene's issue. On the Sky train,
You also talked about the NSS scandal.
yes, on the Sky train, he says the ex-managing director is on the run. He's run to Senegal, and that if he does not come back, he'll be tried in absentia. Immediately after the press conference, the ex-managing director, Asamoah, released the statement.
Yeah.
And with your permission, let me just read a portion.
Okay.
Denial of allegations made by the Attorney General during a press briefing on Monday, March 24th, 2025, on the matter involving my alleged unavailability in Ghana. I am issuing this statement to deny a false allegation that was made against me by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Honorable Dr. Adomako Mensah, during his press conference held on Monday, 24th March 2025. It has become important that I clarify matters and present accurate information without prejudicing the work of the AG. Firstly, I categorically deny the false and inaccurate allegations that have gone into hiding in Senegal. This claim is entirely inaccurate and untrue. In fact, I traveled out of Ghana on Friday, 21st March 2025. Now check the date. He traveled on Friday, 21st. The press conference was on the 24th Monday, to attend scheduled board meetings as part of a corporate responsibility that was planned well in advance. Prior to my departure, I've been present in Ghana for long periods in both February and March. During this period, I was never contacted by any government official in relation to an invitation to assist in any investigation. What it means that the whole of February he was in town. In March, he's been in town. Nobody has contacted him in respect of this particular investigation. However, on Saturday, 22nd March 2022, a day after departure from Accra, I was indeed contacted via WhatsApp by an official of the National Intelligence Bureau who requested an online meeting with me, which we agreed to hold on Wednesday, 26th March at 4 p.m. today. Now watch this. The man has been in Ghana throughout February, March. Nobody contacted him. He travels on Friday, 21st, Friday the 21st, to attend an already planned engagement. On 22nd, a day after his departure, he gets a call from somebody who works with NIB. They have a conversation, and it is agreed for both of them to have a planned online conversation today at 4 p.m. Before even the meeting is held, the minister appears on Monday at a press conference and tells the whole country and the world that the man is running away. Is this fair? Is this public prosecution fair?
Of course, if we're to go by what he's claiming.
Absolutely.
No, but why do you assume that one party is telling the truth and one party is lying?
And that's why society.
That's the problem.
But that's the problem.
On what basis?
And so on what basis should I believe AG?
So let us say that there are doubts and that those doubts can only be cleared in the competent court.
But I'm saying, Uncle, I get your point.
You understand?
Yes.
But I'm
So
saying,
you don't run and make those allegations against
but the
authority.
AG has made a statement.
Yeah.
The AG has made a statement claiming that the man has been running.
Yes.
He's been searched. We can't find him.
And the man says,
The man
Solo
comes
says,
back.
So who is speaking the truth?
I believe Solo.
You don't believe the AG?
Oh, I believe Solo.
You don't believe the AG?
I'm not doubting the AG. That's what I'm saying.
How can you not doubt the
That
AG
is what I'm
and
saying.
believe
Oh,
Solo?
I'm saying that I don't believe in public prosecution. I expected the AG to make this argument in court.
Okay.
And not to have a press conference and say all kinds of things against a gentleman who is telling you now that I've not run away. Okay. Indeed, your people contacted me via phone.
Okay.
And I told them that, oh, I just left the country.
Okay.
And they said they are even ready to have a discussion with me on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But you have a press conference on Monday.
All right.
You get the point I'm making?
Okay.
You have a press conference on Monday.
Okay.
I am with the AG in any effort
Okay.
to ensure that accountability is brought to bear.
All right.
I'm with the AG.
Okay.
But the processes leading to that conclusion, please, must be fair to everybody.
All right.
Mensah, you are being very unfair to the AG. And let me explain why. The AG did not just wake up one morning and decide to hold a press conference. It is clear that the AG's press conference was in response to the numerous claims that were being made against his office and himself.
About gift, like the way the AG said?
Listen, what did the AG do? The AG sought to prove that these arrests and prosecutions were not malicious. So he used examples and so on to demonstrate that. That's what he did.
All right.
Perhaps, if he had not been so provocative, he may not have held the press conference. So all the time that you were holding press conferences, attacking him and accusing him of interfering and so on.
Adu Boahene, we are being told. The story out there is the story by the AG.
Okay. Yes.
What happens?
If you had kept quiet, would he have done that?
But do we force him to make that kind of
You forced him by making allegations against him.
The point I'm making is that
you forced him.
With the point I'm making, he made a very interesting
So
point.
both of you should keep quiet and allow the courts to
now
make
they
a
go to court.
decision.
If now they go to court,
Our time is up. Let me
and
just
some of the
do this in
issues
30
he raised
seconds. So, Marco,
turned
what
out to be not true.
Yeah, what will happen? All right. Right, so Marco,
It would have
good
been
morning.
unfair to
He will
Yes,
be held liable for it.
But by then, you'd have caused a damage to a
I
good
agree
morning.
with you. So don't provoke this situation.
You shouldn't be provoked. He's the agent. He shouldn't be provoked.